I know, Sack. One thing about you, you love fighting. You love professional fighting.
My favorite. Nothing like it.
You love the UFC. You like mixed martial arts more of anything. Shout out to Clifford Starks if he's listening that long. But you also love boxing. That was your
I
first
love
love.
boxing.
That was
Well,
your first
actually,
love.
UFC and MMA was, my first, but I've
Really?
grown. Yeah, yeah. But here's the thing: I've grown to respect boxing, and boxing is the pinnacle. Nothing will ever beat boxing. But that's my opinion.
So we have this big fight going on right now with Triple G and Canelo Alvarez, right? And this is obviously a boxing thing, but most people not may not be into that. I think that most people they're talking about what's gonna happen in the next 30 days. I believe in the next 30 days, or a little bit more over than that. I think it's Conor McGregor versus Khabib. This Khabib
Less than
guy,
30 days. I think it's on the 6th of October.
right? Do you think that this is gonna be a bigger fight or the Triple G fight? What's going on here? Like, is it the Canelo fight or the Triple G fight? Let's start off with that.
Well, it's kind of I would say it's the
Who's the bigger villain? I'm putting you on the
I
hot
don't.
seat.
You know
Oh,
what?
I'm telling the Canelo fight.
I'm gonna have to go with Canelo because Canelo's got the Mexican community and
Sure,
they're
sure.
such hardcore boxing fans that I would
Absolutely.
have to. And it's crazy because 1 year ago, this time they fought. They fought to a draw. A lot of people say Triple G won. I watched the fight. I do agree he out jabbed him and he did outwork him. But now a lot of the experts and former boxers, like former pound for pound fighter Andre Ward, believe that Canelo's going to win because he is older. I mean, you got to look at Triple G's 36, and Canelo's not even 30. And Triple G's been through so many fights, and you look at his amateur career. Even though Canelo did start when he was 13, I feel like he was raised the right way. He had the right fights at the right time, and I wouldn't be surprised if Canelo squeaks out a decision.
And Canelo never really been put on his ass, right?
Canelo's never been dropped. Nope.
Do you think that if anybody could drop him, Triple G will be the guy?
Oh yeah, I mean Triple G, he's I would say he's the hardest hitter in boxing. Yeah.
So what about this? What do you make of this whole Conor McGregor thing? I know you're you're the fight expert. I think the last one that you probably got wrong was the only thing that I think that you got wrong recently, man, that comes to mind, and I'm not a UFC guy, was the Demetrius Johnson fight. If I'm correct, Sack?
Yeah, that was a surprise because he did beat Henry Cejudo years ago, and to see Henry come back and beat him, that was crazy. Yeah, I was definitely wrong about that one. But yeah, that one was crazy because Demetrius was the pound for pound king. He was like the Anderson Silva of today, and he lost. Crazy. Yeah.
So what about the Connor thing though? So you got Khabib, who I think I've seen. I mean, we covered the Connor video and the Khabib thing. What he did, he threw the thing in the incident with the bus, right? We did that video, right? Which like I said, I know that you're the UFC guy. I'm kind of I get into it, but I'll tell you this though, I'm more of the big fighter guys. I love Connor, and I used to like Ronda Rousey when she did her interview. I'm not saying oh she's the best. Calm down, people. I'm just saying that like as a an occasional UFC fan, these are the people like oh I'll pay money to see that, and I know people oh, you pay money. Relax, yeah, I pay money. If I want to see it, I want to see it in an interview. I'm not gonna fucking cheat myself on the fucking stream and not get the whole fucking fight. You know what I mean? I'm gonna pay for it. But that being said, is like I'm not gonna lie to you, dude. I'm on some like I think, and trust me, I think I came with this epiphany now, right? I feel like I paid for every Floyd Mayweather pay per view. Believe it or not, I don't care, and I know I can get it online. But no, when I have my friends over and there's a big people out there, we're gonna watch the Floyd Mayweather pay per view, and it's not gonna get fucking lagged the fuck out because I'm dealing with some cheap ass, fake ass internet shit. I'm gonna buy it on pay per view. But I'll tell you this, you know what? Who I'm like that now with Conor McGregor, Sack. Anything that Conor McGregor is gonna fight in, I'm gonna pay for it top dollar. It's $100 for a pay per view. I'm gonna pay for it. I want to see Conor fucking fight. And let me tell you this Khabib thing. Listen, the Triple G thing and Canelo Alvarez. I loved boxing back in the days. Hell, God, Sack. I know you love it, but one thing though, you know me. I love boxing. At one point, I used to box when I was a kid. Did a little bit of amateur shit. You know what I mean? Not to tuck nothing on my belt here, but I promise you this though: Conor McGregor and Khabib. I'm gonna watch it on pay per view. That's a fact. I'm watching it. I'm gonna have like a party. I'm not gonna watch it at the bar where I know I can watch it. I want to pay for it and watch it in the convenience of my 4K. You know what I'm talking about, Sag?
Absolutely. Yeah, that's gonna be UFC's biggest fight. That's what Dana White said.
I believe so. I believe it is. I believe it is. And I'm not gonna front. I'm actually excited about this fight. And the last time I was excited about a fight, it was Mayweather and fucking Conor. And I get it. I know people are like, really? What about other fights? I know there was more recent fights and shit. Yeah, and I know that Anthony Joshua guy is doing this fucking thing, and right now he's having a great fucking run. You know what I mean? But
Yeah, he didn't want to fight Tyson Fury, so now it's Deontay Wilder versus Tyson Fury in
I don't
February.
blame him. I don't blame them. I don't blame them. I mean, fighters know what they're doing when they duck fights sometimes. You know what I mean? But I think this McGregor fight, and this is no bullshit, sack, no kayfabe here, Bell. I am gonna pay for that pay per view. I'm not gonna lie. I know that this Canelo fight's a big thing if you're a boxing fan, and I used to be a hardcore boxing fan, and I'm not a big MMA fan. But I'm actually starting to lean on MMA for every time I watch these fights because they're like it's kind of like the only pure game left, to be honest. Because it is true, the drug test out like a motherfucker, and it's like that's it. I mean, true or not, it's like it's if you're clean and you fight and that's the end of it and you won, that's it. That's all you hear about. But if you're dirty, that's fucked up. You know what I'm talking about, dude? The fuck?
Yeah, yeah, UFC's making a lot of big stuff nowadays. I mean, they got Brock Lesnar coming back. I heard John Jones might be coming back at the Garden in November.
Right. The UFC, in terms of the drug testing, they're very thorough, and we have to admit this, which is a good thing. So, like, once you break down like how much the drug testing is so involved when it comes down before a fight, sack, because I know you know.
Well, it's funny you bring this up, because I mean, some people might know, but Fabricio Verdum, a UFC heavyweight, he just got suspended by USADA for 2 years. For those of you that don't follow, he beat the greatest heavyweight in MMA. He beat him in 2010. The greatest heavyweight, his name was Fedor Emelianenko, went undefeated for over 10 years, and Verdum submitted him in the first round. And now, 8 years later, he's won the UFC heavyweight belt. I mean, he beat Kane in Mexico City. He's had, well, I would definitely say Verdum is one of the greatest heavyweights easily of all time. But yeah, he got suspended for 2 years now. Machida,
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
my favorite. I mean, him and Fedor, and Anderson. I don't know. I have the Brazilian fighters. They're some of my favorite. But Machida, I love his style because he is traditional karate, and he did get popped for wasn't a steroid. It was some sort of weight cutting supplement, but it was on the banned list, and they cut him, or they didn't cut him. He got a suspension, but it wasn't for 2 years. I believe it was like a year. And then he came back and he fought Derek Brunson, and Derek Brunson knocked him out in the first round. Bellator picks up these guys,
Yeah,
like
sure, sure.
uh,
I
uh,
respect that. I respect the UFC drug testing, but to a certain point though. Because here's the thing though, right? John Jones is a guy who's absolutely revered and hated at the same time. And I love guys like that, right? But it's like, is that really dignified in terms of like I get it that he got popped of other things, but for him for getting popped for like some pill that has nothing to do with anything, or am I being correct by that? Like I said, I'm not a UFC guy.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think John Jones has ever done like testosterone or, like these mass building steroids. Has he done stuff? Sure. They're cage fighters. They're supposed to do stuff. You know what I mean? You're fighting another guy in a cage. But do I think John went out of his way to, get stronger, do this? I look at him and yeah, he did dominate these guys like they were little boys. But you look at his frame, he doesn't really look like he's on
Right,
anything. He's
exactly.
a skinny
He does,
guy,
right? Sure.
that's
Natural. It looks
he
natural.
he he is a dirty fighter. Let's not
Right.
get that.
Well,
He is one of
yeah,
the dirtiest fighters ever.
yeah. The
But
finger pokes in the eyes. You know,
yeah,
I heard about
exactly.
that.
And kicking the knees and like a lot of little things that there's like a code when you step in there. Ben Rothwell said it best. He says, "In the street fighting world, I'm undefeated, but in UFC, I've got some losses because there's like a code in there. When you step in there, can you get away with dirty tricks? Sure. Every
Right, exactly. You're right.
like this is what I like to do. You look at when UFC first blew up back in 2005, their first pay-per-view that really got some eyeballs was Chuck Liddell versus Randy Couture 2. It was in April of '05. And if you go watch that fight, right before Chuck knocks out Randy, he eye pokes him. And I always tell people what would have happened if that eye poke never happened, because you can eye poke somebody and boom, overhand. It's clean. That's the game. So I think guys have gotten smart now. They know
I,
what's
I,
up.
I gotta ask though, man, before we like wrap this up, because I love. I'm not gonna lie, right? I like UFC, but listening to you talk about it, because the more you talk about it, it's like, man, that's true. Like I feel like watching a fight right now on YouTube. Like, what would you say, personally, it's one of the greatest fights? I'm not saying the greatest because it's hard to say the greatest if you had to label as your favorite. But what is one of the greatest fights you think you've ever seen, man?
Well, oh man,
In
I've
mixed
seen
martial, not necessarily
in
UFC, but mixed
in
martial
mixed
arts.
martial arts,
Sure,
one fight that
stands up. Yeah, that
I
holds
think
up.
one fight that everybody should see, even if you're not an MMA guy, every this one fight you have to see. It's
Okay,
called Don Fry versus Takayama. This
okay.
was in Japan,
I
and the
never heard
rules
of
are
those
different.
guys.
Yeah, yeah. Back in Japan, it was Pride, so they would have the first round was 10 minutes long.
Right.
These guys fought, dude. It was a hockey fight for 6 minutes,
No
and Don
shit.
Fry eventually got on top of him and pounded him out. It was chaos for 6 minutes. Just picture two guys throwing punches constantly for 6 minutes, and these are heavyweights.
Right.
These are big
Get
guys.
out of there, anyways. Too.
It
Wow.
was crazy. Yeah.
And I'm like, how did it turn out?
Oh man, it was crazy. They kept fighting each other, and then eventually Takayama got tired, and Don Fry, who was a firefighter, former wrestler out of Arizona, just a badass. He's
No
won
doubt. No
UFC
doubt.
tournaments. He got on top of Takayama and just started pounding him, pounding him. Don Fry was a big deal in Japan. For many of you people that don't know, Japan took him in as like the American hero. He would come out with the American trunks.
Really?
He was a pro, he was a pro wrestler, a warrior, man. He had these fights that were just dog fights. He fought Ken Shamrock at Pride 19. Ken broke both of his heels, both of his ankles. Don got up after the fight and shook his hand, and Don won that fight, a split decision.
And that's fucking sick. See, that's the shit that I'm fucking talking about right there, man. Real hardcore UFC guys that were doing their fucking thing from day one, from the jump. Guys like that. Frank Shamrock as well. Dan the Beast Severn.
That's who Don Fry was college mates with. They had the same mustache, man. They were copycats of each other.
Right. I think there was a golden era in the UFC time, man. Not for nothing, though, man. There was like a time when they were fighting. There was no fucking weight class. It's like
no rules.
Yeah.
Eye gouging, biting. I don't know. Knee. I don't know. It was all kinds of stuff.
All types of shit, man. That was a beautiful fucking thing, man. Let's move on, Sank.